But I also had to wake up one day and realize, like, I can't live my life for other people. Because I think for you, being a young teenager who, ended up having a baby in high school, so many people turn their back on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello there, and welcome to Fridays with Tab and Chance. I'm Tabitha Brown, and this is my husband.
I'm Chance, what's up?
Bring the beat in. Fridays, Fridays with Tab and Chance. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Fridays with Tab and Chance.
I can always tell when it hit different. When it's really hitting.
Baby,
I look over there at Tiff and Tiff be,
Was it the snap? Because it was the early snap on it, Tiff.
Tiff be getting into it. If it ain't,
What you was in here eating and doing before I came? What you eat green? That's in your
spinach
teeth.
in my omelet.
It's right in the center. Let me get.
Wait a minute now, don't chop that now. You know that.
You need to floss it.
They ain't get it out.
No. All right.
All right, let's go.
We're back. So you was kind of. Okay, stop moving whatever in your mouth. Stop moving it around. Like, oh man, yeah. Before we got interrupted, what I really feel was that was your way of not validating the fact that when my snap is in early, it makes Tip feel the beat.
No.
So that's all I was doing.
When it hit, it hit. When you do your part and your part only, it hit. That's all it is. We ain't gonna.
Anywho, today we welcome y'all. Today our topic is coming from Viola Davis's book. There was a conversation in the introduction of the book between her and Will Smith, where Will Smith asked her, "Who are you?" And it prompted the question, "Who are we?" Right? And I think I'll let you take it away because I got a process for a little bit.
Well, I don't think you gave them enough.
Oh, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that maybe some of them have read the book, but maybe you haven't. So.
Yeah, I haven't read the book.
Yeah.
Tiff, we were having a conversation last week, and she explained it that in Will Smith and Viola Davis's introduction on one of the sets, I believe, where they were maybe working together, Tiff. When they first met, he asked her in introduction, "Who are you?" And she's in turn said, "What do you mean by that?" And Will Smith explained, "I will always be the 15-year-old, was it that lost his girlfriend?" And that's what has been defining for him in his life. So we've thought to venture down the path of the same question, who are you? Mm-hmm. I know for me, the minute that Tiff explained it to me, or was telling me about the book, when I really understood it, I got it and I know mine. It is, I will always be the high schooler who got someone pregnant and has ruined his life. That's has been the motivation throughout my life since that moment. I will, no matter what I'm doing, the energy that I remember having then, it can resurface. It's things that can trigger me and motivate me. It's things that can trigger me and discourage me. But it has definitely been the defining moment in my life.
I like this question, right? I don't necessarily know how I feel about feeling like you're always going to be that person. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that. I don't think, in the literal sense, that I am that person. But I think if I understand it the right way, and I might be wrong, I think that is the moment in their lives that they remember that
Shifted something or
shifted
changed.
something. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That what and still does.
Contributes to who they are
it
today.
contributes to how they move.
Got it.
Or don't move. Right. That sometimes can make you refrain from certain activity, or can make you cautious of things because in my case, I wasn't that cautious. I wasn't responsible. I feel like it played a significant role in my life. I don't think that my life was obviously stopped or
But it was altered.
It was altered in a way, and it leaves room for me to question whether or not I could have achieved the things that ultimately I feel that in that moment it took those opportunities away.
Got it.
So yeah, when she was explaining it to me, that's how I interpreted it. Yeah.
I agree with that. I know we had just talked about it, and I never really thought about it. But what I do realize, and this is so interesting because this came up. I did an interview with Amanda Seals months ago, and I was just talking about, different things, and she was like, "When did you become a people pleaser?" Because I was talking about how I always did, I always put everybody before me. I always did things to make other people happy. And I was like, kind of taken back when she said it. And I realized, like, dang, I have been a people pleaser for a very long time, like since I was a little girl. And so I think that in hearing it, and now asking myself, like, who am I? I think I'm always the little girl who didn't want to disappoint her parents, because I saw my sister went through a whole lot, and she was 6 years older than me, and I seen it, and I saw disappointment so much as a kid, and I feared it. So my driving force was always to please, out of fear of upsetting, I think, but also just wanting people to be happy. But it also took me on a road that took me away from pleasing me first. It has taken me a very long time to get to a place of Tab, you're worthy of being pleased as well. And so I guess that's who I am. I will probably always be the little girl who wants to make her parents happy, and not upset them, right? Make them proud. Because even like when I think about myself now, when I do, have accomplishments, my first thought is, I gotta call my daddy. And
I was thinking that too when you were saying it.
Yeah,
like,
it's an instant thing.
It explains a whole lot in regards to you and your dad's relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I have to check the thought, but I still be like, well, I'm gonna call my mom, right? Or that feeling of like, dang, I still didn't tell somebody. So I guess that's exactly, who I am, and where it stems from. Like, it's a very early age for me. I wonder, because what you said, yours altered your life, right? And so now in thinking about it, I just wonder, how would life had been different for me had I not been wanting to please and make proud. I think everybody wants to make their parents proud, but my driving was a different force, I think. So I'm just wondering, like, if I had to say it, I want to make me proud first.
Did you do that when you're saying it, right? See, I look at it and I say, okay, in my particular case, I'm always gonna be the kid, the teenage kid that got somebody pregnant and ruined his life, right? But I didn't ruin my life, obviously, right? But because that's what the thinking, what I always go back to that place and actually go back to those actual words being said to me, and they can motivate me. They can make me refrain. It can give me a discipline that I didn't have. Right?
That's good.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So
that's probably what it did for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you
It ain't probably, it's exactly what it did.
you see what I'm saying? So when you could feel in your spirit that it was making maybe your parents uneasy about the idea of you moving away, you still did it, right? You still did it, right? So when it was making them unhappy and about us moving in together,
Still did
you
it.
still did it,
Yeah.
right? There's certain things, right, to where you like, man, I want to make you happy. However,
I still have this life to live.
I still have this life to live, right? And you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like a give and a take. And in the long run, I know that the incident in my life or that time in my life, I choose to look at it as it was how it was written. It was how it was written, and it was not a part of my story for me to, no matter how it hurts me to think about my college basketball career and possibly me playing in the pros and that kind of thing. It still hurts, right? But I have to take it on the chin and say, well, listen, God gave me a very fruitful life in a different way.
Right.
Right? Just wasn't part of my story. It wasn't that it was ruined. It was more so that I just needed that motivation, that thinking, that kind of thinking to navigate the rest of it based on that loss or that gain.
Right. I think I agree. Like for me, it's funny that you said like the discipline. It's also like a driving force. But there were still moments where I made decisions for myself. Like still moments that you said, I know I made this mistake, but I'm still going to do this.
I'm
right?
gonna do this.
So to your point of saying my parents or my dad was uneasy about us moving in together, but I did it anyway. But remember the letter I wrote was all of me apologizing constantly, even ending it with Daddy, one day I'm gonna make you proud, I promise. Like it was always a constant thing for me, even though I chose.
Because it was inside of you. It was something inside of you that knew like this is not the end. You're temporarily disappointed. Right now.
Yeah. But it was still the other thing that pushed me. I always had my own dreams that have just been inside me forever. But it was also the thing that pushed me like, I can't let them down. Because now I've already disappointed. So it was, even after my mama passed away, I was like, man, I gotta make it. Because I missed, even though I was there on and off when she was sick and helping take care of her, I had already moved to California, right? We had already moved. So in the back of my head, it's like, man, if I hadn't moved, I'd have been there every single day.
Right.
Now the moving will be in vain if I don't make it to show her even, as she looks down on me, that I did it. Like it's still like a driving, the discipline. It kind of helped give me discipline. But it also, I think, made me, and to your point, part of like who I am.
All of who you are.
Right? I don't think all of who I am, but it does play a huge role. But I also had to wake up one day and realize like, I can't live my life for other people. Because I think for you, being a young teenager who, ended up having a baby in high school, so many people turn their back on you, right? And that left this mark on you. And it's like it's almost like when you're living for other people's approval. But you had to get to a place of where that didn't bother you anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So, and for me, mine came very later in life. Later in life, I still aim to please. Like I want my dad and them to be proud, but that ain't my driving force anymore. I had to, wake up and realize, wait a minute, I got to be whoever God created me to be, and if this is who He wants me to be, I'll be that.
What do you when do you think that moment was? Because I got an idea.
For me, when I was sick, like in the last 6 years, my wake up of going on, the vegan journey and just really trying to heal myself, really trying to take off the layers of, being the Tab I had created versus being the Tab that God created. I think that's when it happened for me. Really thinking like I was gonna die, like thinking I was gonna leave this world not being who He created me to be at my full potential. So not very long ago.
Yeah, not very long ago. But I honestly, I thought you was gonna say when your mom passed away. But I just remember that being
That something different happened for me then.
yeah. I remember that being a very like an awakening.
Absolutely.
For me to how I can say it's easy for me because of that to identify and answer this question, who I am. Just that experience, I mean the actual experience in being in the room and all of that, that was a turning point in my life. And the months that led up to that and all of the things that I had been asking for over the course of my life. Like, I literally remember being discouraged, and feeling like, man, they're right, I done ruined my life, right? And having conversations or trying to speak to God, wanting to hear His voice, wanting to see a miracle, wanting to, something, just some answers to basic questions. I remember, picking up the Bible and trying to read it from my own understanding because I did not like the interpretation or how things were being explained to me from pastors, whether in person, on TV, or whatever. And over those course of months, which ultimately led to the passing of your mom, really it feels, when I think back on it, I be like, man, I didn't really get to experience her for a long period of time. It was in a short span. So, but in that short span, all my answers got all my questions got answered. I saw a miracle. I saw a strength that I can't, still to this day, I've never seen that kind of strength. I've never seen loyalty in that fashion. I've never, and it was everything that was said that would come to pass, came to pass. So when I think about how I define myself, and you know what I mean, like I choose to look at it. I can identify it, but I choose to look at it as, okay, that's just how it was written. But it's not. It doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. I just choose to look at that and say, if I'm being completely honest, which I feel like I should as a result of what I just explained, that is who I am, though. It's not, you know what I mean? It's the motivating. It was the turning point, and then all those other things that came afterwards, the miracles and the things that I got to see with your mom, is how I can look at it in the light, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. That I do.
And do you think, so for you saying, well, mama passed because you thought that was my thing.
Yeah, I thought.
You think that's yours?
Yeah, yeah, that right there is, a couple of moments in my life, but probably the most impactful. Nah, that's it. It ain't probably. In that short period of time, I got enough, and it was trying afterwards, right? So right afterwards, probably some of the most trying times that me and you had ever been through. But I don't go back to a verse. I don't go back to like, you know what I mean? I go back to those things. It's like I'll recall things and be like, that actually happened. So I've seen a miracle.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that actually happened. I seen this, I witnessed this. And
But
you get what I mean?
it's the burst in your life
Yeah.
that you go back to.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I think there's a lot. I mean, for me, I know what I have just shared, but I think for me, there's a lot of different moments from my childhood and young adulthood that can be who I am, right? But I do believe the people pleasing is definitely a huge part. But there's also this fear that was always inside of me as a child. And I think the fear came from, being a very different child. Seeing things and dreams and having a gift as a little girl and trying to explain it to people, but also being afraid that I was doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I say that because I remember me and my mama would talk about it. I would tell them if I had a dream or if I seen something, or if I'm at my grandma's house and I seen a man come down the stairs that nobody else saw, but my grandma just act like it wasn't no big deal in the middle of the night. Like, oh, there ain't nobody but your granddad who died when I was a baby, right? And I thought this stuff is scary and I'm afraid of it, but nobody is really talking about it. But when mama was sick, that last year of her life is when she said to me, are you ready to talk? And it was like, dang, it's my whole life. It's like we would have little moments of conversations, but I lived with this fear. I mean, how old was we when you finally was like, babe, we can't sleep with these lights on no more?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I always had to sleep with lights on.
Yeah.
Because I see so much.
We was in Greensboro, right?
No, we was in Don Tomaso. We finally got the TV.
Yeah, the little TV.
Yeah.
She wanted to keep the TV on.
So we had got a little money.
I forgot about that.
After mama passed, and we got money, and we got a TV for the bedroom, and we put a timer on it.
Yeah, we had to put the little,
and it was like, hey, we can't do this light thing no more, baby.
Man, I gotta get some sleep.
You set it for 45 minutes. By that time, you should be able to go to sleep. But
and she used to be trying to go to sleep.
I used to try. I'd be trying hard to go to sleep. But when you have this thing and nobody can really talk to you about it, and if you don't really understand it as a little kid, you're living in like a constant fear almost. But I think, to your point, again, when mama said to me before she passed, like, now you want to talk, you want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And we had this, we spent a year really, her last year of life. I always say that she came back and lived that last year for me. So much that prepared me even more. And so it was a huge turning point in my life. But even the gift, with the gift, I aim to please mama in that too. Right? Even in her not being here anymore, it's still a thing that like, oh, I hope that I am making her proud in how I allow God to use me. Because I also saw how God used her, But it was definitely a huge turning point in my life, if that makes sense, without going down a whole nother 30 minutes of, because that could be a whole different conversation. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
The question is a good one.
It's a great question.
It opens up so many things that you can touch on that I think can be defined in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read Viola's book.
Yes.
I am, because of that. I just like how that those kind of things are interesting to me. I'm almost done with Will's book, but it makes me think about the kind of books that I like. Me and Tiff been going down this whole book thing. Me and Tiff gonna start us a book club.
Y'all gonna start a book club? We might need to do a book club. Now, before we go, this is crazy because I didn't know this was gonna be our topic today. I dreamt about Viola Davis last night at 7:43 because it was with somebody else. So I you can see right here at 7:43, I sent a message this morning to somebody about Viola Davis. So, do you see it?
Oh, I thought you sent that to Viola Davis. I was
No.
like, oh, okay.
Oh, I ain't got Viola phone number. I wish I. Hey, girl, if you want to call me though. I mean, we have DM before on the IG.
I was going to say, Viola.
I love you.
You know,
but no,
I've
she
been
was
right here with you. You better not be talking to Viola Davis that I don't know. I've been right here with you. Standing in. I just watched Fences the other day.
Listen, we sure did. We did.
Man.
But this is crazy. So without saying who this person is, I dreamt of her last night, so I had to send her a message and tell her that I had this dream about her and Viola Davis. But the last part was that I gave her a PS was, your childhood story needs to be told. And so it's so crazy that we're talking about this in our childhood. And I had no idea that this was going to be the topic today, but that's just also how the gift works sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anywho, very good. Well, I like who you are.
Me too.
And who you becoming.
I like who you are too.
Who you being. Very, very good.
Yeah,
We a whole lot of different people sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah. Hey, but the boy who got a baby in high school, had a baby in high school, I liked him too.
Yeah, I know.
When it happened, I even
You
told
were
him
you were you and literally 4 other people.
Listen, when
4 other people. I remember 5 people who stood with me and reassured me and
y'all
said,
remember
hey.
the story now. Chance hated me in high school. He didn't want to talk to me. But when I found out he was having a baby, I called him and said, hey, because I knew his dream of going to the NBA. I said, this does not mean your life is over. I remember that.
I remember
sitting in the floor and I was like, I
remember.
got to call Chance Brown.
I remember getting a knot in my throat because you said it.
Yeah. So
I remember, but I thank you and I love you.
I love you too. All right, y'all heard the bell. That means it's time to wrap it up. So until the next time, honey, who are you? Maybe have this conversation amongst yourselves, with your friends or with yourself, and if that's your business. But until the next time, honey, y'all go about y'all business and have the most amazing day. But even if you can't have a good one, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's here. Very good. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. And don't forget to click here for more episodes.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Very good.